Well, here we are, the Lindblad campaign. We're here in Panorama City. We're here in Panorama City with the Lindblad campaign, and it's significant because about 12 years ago, when neighborhood councils were just forming, nothing was being formed in Panorama City because of the lack of a Kiwanis Club, the lack of a Chamber of Commerce here. So about 17 of us architects, engineers, lawyers, geologists, I'm an architect, I led the study for the revitalization of the Panorama City commercial area. And what we had come up with is dividing the district into 3 sub-districts. Right now we're in the main historic business district. To the north here, as you'll see, there's the Plaza de Valle, which shows the historic district of the Panorama City commercial area. And to the south of here is what we term the educational area because of a high school just opening up. So we established queue conditions to stop auto-related uses, to relieve the congestion, and to improve the streetscape. Here, we wanted businesses to turn their fronts back to the boulevard instead of to the parking lots behind the boulevard, to add a pedestrian friendliness to the boulevard to restore business here that is green oriented. How so? How can we make it green? By getting people out of their cars, by relying more on mass transit. Well, the largest bus transfer point with the greatest board passings, 20,000, 30,000 per day, occurs here, right here at Roscoe Boulevard, where it crosses Van Nuys Boulevard. And so we looked at these ingredients to make a revitalized commercial area, and our urban design assistance team study won national recognition, won the award of the San Fernando Business Journal, and is quite widely acclaimed. It helped form legislation in Sacramento to lower our allow us to lower our greenhouse gases by signaling to developers to come back to the existing infrastructure here, like in Panorama City, and not out in the exurbs to overload the infrastructure and consume more water and electricity and more infrastructure. So having developers be transit-oriented communities, pedestrian friendly and mixed use where you live near where you work and play, helps us meet our global greenhouse mandate in California to reduce emissions by 1/3 by 2020, and also to have a 1/3 energy, renewable energy economy. It's very important then as a backdrop to seeing, to adding something for adding a structure underlying support for the formation of a neighborhood council here that I helped form also 12 years ago. So these in the community efforts that myself, in cooperation with the neighborhood council and the urban design assistance team, has always been to reinvigorate and revitalize the community and do it in a way with pocket parks and having groundwater absorption outside the business district, and also permeable paving within it, getting away from having barren parking lots, having more tree-lined boulevards. So this is very, very important in our neighborhood council formation that can test all the developments against our concept plan, which was codified by city planning, to see if it meets it or exceeds it. In that we want to have businesses that aren't attracting more cars, having auto sales, and businesses with their backs toward the community. So again, the award-winning study and the emergence of the neighborhood council is something that we've been working on and working with for over the past decade here in Panorama City. The idea, though, of what happened 4 years ago is equally important. When I was running for state assembly, I asked folks a little to the north here about bringing the red car back, whether there be support for it, whether folks would ride a light rail down Van Nuys Boulevard. And to a person, everybody said, yes, this is what we need. There are too many cars, too much delays in the traffic. And so Metro, at the end of my campaign, at the beginning of 2011, took up this effort and studied 3 corridors, the north-south corridors in the San Fernando Valley. Reseda Boulevard, that goes north and south, Van Nuys Boulevard that goes north and south, and also Lancashire Boulevard. And they found, according to the boarding tables, that Van Nuys Boulevard has the greatest bus traffic that needs to be changed to light rail, that needs to be changed to a more expedient, more efficient, high volume, non-polluting mode of transportation. Not only this would help the 961,000 folks in our state Senate district, but also the 40,000 students at high schools and colleges close to the Van Nuys Boulevard here, going from Sylmar, San Fernando at the Metrolink Amtrak, to Pacoima, Arleta, down here to Panorama City onto Van Nuys, and the Van Nuys Metrolink Amtrak would be connected to another Amtrak Metrolink at Sylmar. That's good for regional rail, that's good for high-speed rail too. So we're talking about a very important linkage for about 12.7 miles of light rail. Then it would continue from the Van Nuys Metrolink Amtrak onto the Orange Line. And then we'd pick up a lot of Los Angeles City Metro boardings and ridership. Then it would pick up all of the traffic that would normally go to cars on Van Nuys Boulevard. So we'd have workers and students from 12 miles to the north be able to get without cars to Ventura Boulevard. This has been the result of our campaigns, of our efforts through the neighborhood councils in cooperation with different neighborhood councils to rail on, to put a light rail on Van Nuys Boulevard, and to advocate heavily with Metro to advance the most cost-efficient, the most green, saving the most greenhouse gases, and for environmental justice, social justice, and economic justice for the workers here in the valley. So that's another example of how we're in the community over the long term, improving the community even before we step into the state Senate. Thanks very much.